go ahead. Right. Admit. Hey, hi Heather. Gonna go ahead. So I'm gonna share screen, get straight to my PowerPoint. It is gonna be probably a little cerebral, but nothing taxing because it's all gonna be about stuff that we already knew. I think the topic for today is a really is a very common topic, jealousy and envy. I'm sure we've all experienced it in one way or another, whether we've been jealous or other people have been jealous of us. So I'm just gonna, let me see. Right. So today's topic is crabology. And of course, I had to choose a green crab for obvious reasons to be on the, to, to be on the, to be on the cover slide, and I'm sure somebody else will get that phone, Murphy's Law. So the topic is envy and jealousy. And that's really curried crab. That's why it's green, but it fit the topic. And so before we begin, I think we've all done this, but kindly turn on your video, but mute your mic, unless you'd like to speak, of course. Input your name under your Zoom image, but I think I know all of you, so it may not matter that much in this particular meeting. Resist indulging in cerebral vanity. I have a feeling this doesn't apply to anybody here, but I've just included it for today and future webinars. Sometimes people like to parade how intellectual they are, and it's not that kind of a webinar, right? It's just going to be just down to earth, and nobody needs to prove anything because we all have something to contribute. Let's please be respectful and considerate. We have 2 hours. We have a lot to cover in 2 hours. So, I don't know if we'll cover everything, but of course, we just need to be mindful that we just have a limited amount of time, right? So we can't really go on very long. Like we can't have lectures within lectures, right? That's what I mean. Feel free to take screenshots of slides that you like. There may be slides that you like that you're thinking, I'd like to keep that. You feel free to do that. But all I would kindly ask is that you not share any portions of the PowerPoint, because I may repeat this at some point down the line. And, I'd like it to be fresh and new for people. And I prefer not to have my work floating all over the place. So that's it, basically. House announcements. And who am I? Well, many of you know me already, but for people, for example, like Laura, who may not know me, I am a poet, artist, and believer. So I'm on the art side of things. And I'm also a linguist. I speak a couple different languages, but Mandarin Chinese is one of them. I am not a formally trained counselor. I'm more like an armchair, what probably most psychiatrists and psychologists absolutely hate. I'm an armchair psychologist, so I love studying people and coming to my own conclusions about things. But I tend to also read up quite a bit on psychology-related issues. I clearly see the instructional value of the arts, of things like poetry, music, visual art. I think that they're a lot more practical than sometimes most people may realize. So I hope that I can bring that out in these webinars. And I'm here to contribute to our collective insight. I know that together we're all going to have a lot of cool, interesting things to share. So I hope this webinar will help us all better understand envy, provide a 360-degree perspective of envy and jealousy, help us recognize when we feel envious, because I realize sometimes people may not realize even when they feel envy, or they may be quick to kind of push it aside, and I hope that this webinar will help us find the resources to manage envy when we do feel it, because that's the other thing. A lot of people don't know how to manage envy. And I also hope this webinar will help us feel more positive about Chinese, less fearful. Chinese is not as scary as it seems, believe you me. It's a very logical language. I know it looks very alien, but it's, believe you me, when you get an idea of what it's like, you'll see how logical it is. And I hope this webinar will spotlight the fun and practicality of poetry. So Hopefully we will all be different people by the end of this webinar because learning is growing. All right, so crabology. This is what we're going to be doing in this webinar. We're going to be defining crabology, looking for real life examples, checking out some Chinese script insight, poetry analysis and discussion, talking about how to deal with crabs, and we'll do some fun art making. And I decided to push the art making a little further up in the PowerPoint presentation. If we have time, we might do some art making twice during the course of this webinar, but definitely at least once, we'll do a bit of art making, and I hope that people will have fun with that. So don't be crabby. Nobody here is crabby today, right? All right, first up, what is envy? All right, this is my definition of envy. I don't know if somebody else has another definition, feel free, but I think envy is when somebody feels bitter about not having more, and especially not having something that somebody else has that they wish that they had. That's how I see envy. You guys cool with that definition? Or is there anything you'd like to add to that? I think it's like a bitter, kind of angry, resentful kind of feeling. So that's my own definition of envy. But in English, we tend to mix envy with jealousy. Like most people don't distinguish, but there is a distinction, but most times we mix them, right? So what is jealousy? Jealousy is a fear of losing someone or something that, that we think we have. We're afraid that somebody else is going to steal something from us. So it's like a fear. Envy is more anger and resentment, but jealousy is more like a fear. Like if I don't know, I'm not married, but let's say you're married, and okay, we're all ladies here. Let's say some super attractive lady starts flirting with your husband or something, and you are afraid that your husband's gonna pay her more attention than he pays you or something like that. That would be the definition of what jealousy is. Whereas envy might be if you see the same woman and you wish that you had her eyes, or you wish that you had her brain, or that's envy, right? So that's how I distinguish between them. So if you have those feelings, anybody who is consumed by those feelings gonna be crabby. So we've come to our first art interval.